On the low, but we fall from the bone. True son of the sun, I'm a prince in my own. Never gonna lie, me, I love LIB. Even though it's far, when we show we can face it. It's not a prophecy, I know that we can rise again. Holding my hand, I holding your own. United, we stand, divided, we fall. You know, I wanna say when I come with ball, when I chillin' on that side, and I get no bro. I got L to the O to the V and the E. If we fighting together, we can conquer the sea. From the east to the west, then waving the flag from the north to the side. Yeah, that's joining the team. You go, you pella, you love my crown. Who kill it? Who got Jonah?
I love Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Feeling on liberty, Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. I love Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Mama was born, yeah. Papa was born, yeah. They hold us together, the honey boy, yeah. Nabalike na koya bake na papa bobo. Nabalike na koya bake na papa bobo. Nabali bola bowe na papa bobo. Nabali bola bowe na papa bobo. La biro waka poma o. La biro waka ma o. Balanda no waka ma o. I know I
from the east to the west, north to the south, yeah, let's come together as one. They say united we stand, divided we fall. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. Walla, you from Gentile, you from Lova Kante, you from Maryland. Walla, you from Rewa Sesu. I'm about that way on young people. I'm up on the coin way. La villa, I love Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Feeling on liberty, Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. I love Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. I love Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Feeling on liberty, Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. I love Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Master Square on the mix.
Liberia, ooh yeah yeah, ooh yeah yeah. I love Liberia, ooh yeah yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia, ooh yeah yeah, ooh yeah yeah. I love Liberia, ooh yeah yeah. Feeling on liberty, Liberia, ooh yeah yeah, ooh yeah yeah. I love Liberia, ooh yeah yeah. They play for me and you, from the east to the west, north to the south.
Exactly. I love Liberia. I love Liberia. Who doesn't like the best country on the planet, Liberia, with all of the, amenities to enjoy and everything. Good evening, wherever you're listening from, however you are listening, wherever you're watching from. We want to come at your doorsteps this evening. It promises to be fascinating. It promises to be firing. And it promises to be very, very informative. My name is Washington Prince Tapper Jr. And the best thing happening on radio at about this time is about to happen on EOBC 99.9. So wherever you are, just join and let's ride together tonight. We have our usual in-house panelist is with us tonight. As always, since he's joined this discussion table, it has been very, 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 very much improving. So welcome to the program Open Conversation. Open Conversation is a 2-hour current affairs program that highlights the major happenings in the country, and we enlighten, we incite our people with the rightful information, demystifying the myth circulating the political corridors of the country. That's what we do. So let's move to our in-house panelists. Good evening, Daniel, and welcome.
Good evening to you, Washington. Good evening to you. It's good being back here.
How have you been today?
Yeah, it's a fantastic day. Too many activities, too many things to run around, up and about. And also, it's more of a colorful day because we saw that the president was all out on his door-to-door campaign activity today, and the number of people who came out to watch the president, appreciate him, and also talk to him. So it's a good day, so far.
Exactly. So let's cross to the lone female, the female who inspires this discussion. Titi, good evening.
Good evening, Washington, and it's good to be back here this evening again. Today is Wednesday. By this time next week, we will already know exactly, who amongst the two candidates running in this run of elections will be charged to steer the affairs of this country. So it's a good thing. It has been a long way coming, and we're glad that we're here today. And in the next few days, Liberia decides.
Exactly.
We thank God that we have life, and we are hopeful that we will have the opportunity, by the grace of God, with faith, that we will see all of that happen.
You got it right. So it is about time we introduce our program to you, the different spectrums and the different trends of our program tonight. So Open Conversation has a trend. We talk about the trending issues. If we have a guest, we introduce our guest. If we do not have our guest, we use all of the time to circumnavigate the issues of the night. So let's cross back to UT. If you have anything for trending, then we'll come back here. Daniel is also here. He also has trending as well.
Okay, so tonight we're going to talk. It's three of us and no guests, but there's a lot happening in our country that we are going to talk about today. First of all, I'd like to start up with, we know that the National Elections Commission, since they announced the runoff elections campaign open, we've been seeing and hearing about endorsements all over the place from the both political parties that we've been talking about. But today, the ruling Coalition for Democratic Change started something different with we know campaign will close on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Am I right?
Very short period.
Okay, so today is Wednesday, and His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia, incumbent President Weah, who is still on the ticket of the CDC, started his outdoor campaign today. And he was in district number 4, and a lot of people, the CDC always does things differently. People expected that President Weah would go to a town hall meeting as usual that happened before the runoff elections, where there will be speeches made and the president will listen to the heads of the communities, and they will talk about what they want. But I like the fact that they took a different thread, where the president now is engaging citizens face to face, one by one. People in their communities have an opportunity to see President Weah, just walk through their communities and have an interaction with them. And you're standing and you're seeing the president in your community. Before the elections, during the first, when campaign opened for the first round of the elections, if the president was coming to district number 2, we know that it will be organized where he will go to maybe a field or a school campus. And if you're in district number 2, you already know that if I want to see the president today because he's coming in my district, I have to go to this so-and-so school because I want to see the president. Or my group has a message for the president and we have to give that message. I'm the one giving that message. But today is different. Of course, we know the Unity Party is copycat. They might also do that because usually the format of the CDC during the first rounds of the elections was just what the Unity Party copied, where they have first-time voters speaking, where they have community people talking to the former vice president, just the same thing. So maybe they're going to do the same thing. But it was strange. It was very strange today, and it was interesting to see President Weah in the communities with the citizens, interacting with them, and people just following the president and appreciating him for everything he has done. I don't know where, that came from, but I thought, that was just exciting to see today.
So it's a fantabulous strategy, fantabulous political strategy. So, like you said, yeah, Daniel, you're coming in, but I just cut you. But I want you to come in on that.
Okay. So
Your microphone.
So thank you. This is a clear manifestation of the outburst of energy that the president brings to the campaign trail. President Weah, for a start, is one political leader that cuts across the most ordinary Liberians. He is exemplified if it comes to his ability to recognize, interact with the day-to-day Liberian people. These campaigns aren't about the comfort of your different space or the massive crowding of people at stadiums. It is about a more practical Jehovah Witness style, where I saw this during the elections of Barack Obama. Obama would call in the morning to a particular house and say, "Good morning. You're speaking to Barack Obama, and I'm running for president of the U.S. How are you?" And the family will be like, "Oh, did that mean like the wowing?"
Oh, the president's
Correct.
coming today.
Exactly.
It's exciting.
So
it's a different political climate.
So President Weah has embarked on this strategy that the old man who sells the coal, by the time she opens her little door and see the president stands there, it's our man morning, like today.
He was in the market today,
Correct.
interacting with the marketers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my people are here to see how the market do everything. How much for the variable? How much for the that thought of the president being in their midst, that present, that presence is something that it goes beyond sophistication.
It goes beyond elections.
It goes beyond that.
You want to see all the children like this, the president in the background, and then you
And asking if it was America, asking for autographs, and you know what I mean? Everybody wants to, Mr. President, can you sign this for me? So, but this is a guy who, even though the presidency that he's garnered for the last 6
so
years,
simple.
he's refused to be a sophisticated version of a president. He believes that his simplistic nature as a leader helps to even give him access to the ordinary people. And what you saw today in District 4 is a clear manifestation of the president's willingness to recognize all Liberians across the aisle. And because of this, a lot of times our political pundits will say that the president is showcasing and he's showing off. I say no. This is the president who, you see, because if I wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, Titi, and go to the polls and stay many hours waiting first for 8 o'clock to come for the polls to be open, maybe for 8:30 for all of the different parties, that are constituents of that center to be in full, and I go and cast my ballot. Imagine the man to whom I'm casting my ballot, for whom I'm casting my ballot, appears before me in my common place of work. It says to me, "I'm here to see you, to talk to you. Let me know what are some of the things you understand. This is your president here." If I had a different notion as an ordinary Liberian citizen, I changed my mindset, because you know, go to my labapido and you sit and take what's going on my food with me. This is the kind of person I carry. So President Weah I won't be surprised if I see the risky train taking the same direction, maybe tomorrow or a day or two, because these copycats will only wait for Weah to introduce some of these futuristic campaign, ideas, and take it. So to Liberians who are listening to us, your president is outside, as in outside, where he's going all out in the different communities, and with very less security presence in his before. He said to people, look, my people can do nothing to me. When the security is trouble, the president said, no, it's okay. This is a man who, to tell you, he has created no problems in this country. He owes nobody, so he's free to walk the way he's walking and talk the talk with the people. So today, what I saw before the press conference, it enlightened in me the passion to wake up 4 o'clock on November 14th, 4 in the morning.
Not only
And get myself
before
to cast my ballot.
before Washington comes in, the thing is, the fact of the matter is that President Weah makes the presidency so simple.
Very.
It gives you, an ordinary person who is striving, who is going to school and making strides in this country, it makes you feel like, this man makes the presidency so simple. I think I can be president of Liberia.
Yep.
It makes you feel that, I have an urge now to do well in school, because this opportunity can also be given to me by the Liberian people. Before, we thought about the presidency like, this is a very high seat that by the time you know yourself, I can even be president.
Yep.
But if you see your president walk to your community and interact with you, then you know that, to be president, it's not a very, very big deal the way I thought about it. Then you give those young people who you are interacting with an understanding of the presidency, and they will say, let me learn better so I can also follow in this man's footsteps. Not only that, but also my mother or my aunt who is in the market, who sees President Weah, at her market table, and the president says to you that, hey, my Oma, how you doing? Well, I'm here, I'm running. I'm the president, but I'm running in these elections, and I want you to support me. The fact of the matter is, President Weah came to the market today. President Weah is soliciting my votes. If the president can come to me and ask me to vote for him, why shouldn't I vote for him?
He values me.
The fact of the matter is, he values me. He has come to the market to interact with me. Then it means I am important, and because I'm important to him, and he knows my importance, I'm going to vote for him. I think that's a very good strategy, and I hope it really works for the CDC.
But also, Titi, before Washington comes in, I think this is not a new strategy. I'm going to give you play-by-play scenarios of instances where the president made himself available in the commonest of places to the people. You see, President Weah has exposed the president in a way that, just like you said, people think it's simple, it's an ordinary thing. In rehab, when he was elected in 2017, just after his inauguration, he woke up one Saturday morning, the rehab market that he rehabilitated, walked there with his plastic bag. How much for the better boy? Go come and drive here today.
Imagine the president still.
They market me like, hey, my son can't pass for me. And he said, I saw there. He put him in the West Bank. Put him off, he threw it. There was another woman who was on the other side. You could see the tears rolling down her. It was very emotional.
Yeah, it brings chill to your skin.
Yes.
Yeah? You get the goosebumps. You're like, what is this man doing?
Went to Ball County. And after talking to the health workers, the same bone, after talking to the health workers and appreciating them, while working with them, there was a lady who was selling cassava across the road. He crossed the road unattended.
I think I watched that.
Correct.
I think it's on the internet.
Yes.
The president just crossed the road.
Exactly.
And went to buy from that.
And he said, I want a shovel.
I don't think she really knew that was the president, in fact.
She knew, because people said, oh, the president for the back home. Oh, the president coming to you. She was very confused. That woman wielded all of the confidence she could, because imagine the nervousness.
I know.
So the president say, I want a cassava here, that correct cassava. It's soft. Yeah, you know, we let it soft. Then he pick up the cassava. He took a piece of coconut. She washed it for him. He bite the coconut. He said, yeah, correct. Then look at me, I know the food. That woman, up till today,
That is an
She
experience. you
still
cannot
lives,
forget.
Titi, with that memory. Every county the president went to, he made himself available. Let me give you one very striking story. The same after 2017 is a place where you go up Ashmont Street. I think they call Black Diamond, where they do the break, the drummer, all that kind of stuff. The president took a team of his people and his wife. Madam First Lady has been so embedded into our Liberian society to the extent that she basically know all of the different food and other stuff that we eat in our country. So the president took them. They sat down in an open and had lunch. The place.
So it's not about elections.
No, it's not about elections.
It's the simplicity
No
that
masquerading.
President brings to
Exactly.
the presidency.
So you see these instances I'm giving you, and many more. And these were, an exemplary roadmap of how leadership must be channeled. Why? If I had Diana Thomas or Titi Jibo today, can earn what she's earning because of her professional services to her country, and there is a change in her social status, there's a change in her family relationship, it is because the old man in the market went to the polls that morning to elect a president who gave you and myself the opportunity.
Of course.
So the president recognizes that if that woman in the market can recognize me as her president or me, what more can I do by going to her? It's not that's not much to ask for. So I just wanted to put this point through, that this, what you saw today, is not new for President Weah. He's done it times and times again over the years.
So it's not political.
It's not political.
It looks political, but which one of our presidents ever did that?
They wouldn't do it.
Even though the people will stand in lines and vote for you,
Yep.
but still, which one of our presidents, which one of our most recent
So
presidents did that?
that's where my analysis was coming from. You see, the ingredients of the campaign strategy, for me, I have deduced that it has three different categories. The categories are it is socially connecting, emotional, and it is also memory driven. Like Daniel was given the scenario of the woman who, the cassava lady.
Very strong.
That woman is forever going to live with that memory, that she has been able to have, this kind of social interaction with the first citizen of the country forever in her life. Even it necessarily does not have to be financially driven, but the strategy being employed by the team to allow the president to physically interact with his people. You understand? Not wherein the president goes to a political rally or a campaign rally, and then the people are being stopped from going to where the president is being seated. But now it is the opposite. Instead of the people being stopped, it is the president who is coming to the people and interacting with the people. So this is a long-lasting and a perpetual memory of me, of you, of the cassava woman, of the Billabong woman. Take for an example, like you said, Titi, how many of the Liberian former or past presidents have ever, employed such a strategy? So the copycat that you talked about will certainly want to do, everything now, everything that is being, initiated.
And Mr. Walker does not have that strength that I saw.
And Washington, sorry to inject your space. He did it. This year, there was a picture that they placed out just before elections, just outside his fence or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
He was standing by a banana, and he took his picture and ran around the public, the social media space with that picture. You see, their inability to recognize what they're supposed to do before somebody do makes them fake. I just want to inject that. They did.
But I'm just saying that he doesn't have the strength to do that.
Oh, the door to door?
because-
No, you
yeah,
can't
he
try that.
doesn't have it because he went to West Point. I know I watched that, on the internet where he went to West Point. And the citizens there were demanding that he gets down because when the president goes anywhere, he would get down and walk a little distance, or he would walk a very long distance. So they were demanding that, Ambassador Bwaka.
He lacks that agility.
Let me say
He
something.
lacks that agility.
You will come in and
Yeah.
they put him down from the car. He got down, but he didn't
Go
walk
far.
like from here to the door and then they whisk him back into the car. He doesn't have the strength for that. So they wouldn't attempt doing that.
Which validates Costas
The
Costas assertion claim
yeah.
that he's just waiting for this whole presidency to put in the hands of Jeremiah Cohen, go and seek medical attention. Because that proves that. That proves that 100%. Go ahead, Washington.
Let's be honest. The presidency comes with, a variety of responsibilities. Like the former vice president, there are a few things he lacks, and the Unity Party must be very clear about, the physical posture of the former vice president. If your president is not physically, mentally, fit to drive the policy of the country and the future of the people he or she wants to lead, then it becomes a problem. It becomes a serious national problem because the decision in the future of this of any nation starts with the head of the nation. So let's look at it from this angle and perspective. President Weah goes to a political rally, political campaign. He has the time to interact with his people. He goes about meeting his people on one-on-one, and he just do the tour. Former Vice President Bwaka has a huge limitation when it comes to citizen interaction. He has a huge limitation.
But how wouldn't he have that when he's not, physically
But
fit?
that is the problem. So you don't expect the former vice president to have done exactly what the president is currently doing and has done. It is impossible because the physical aspect is not valuable. It's not of a substance. So you wouldn't demonstrate that. So the presidency comes with a lot of responsibilities, and the health factor it's also a corresponding factor of the presidency. Don't try to distinguish that. So we are opting for a president who probably may have 95% of all of the requirements that we need to make up a president. And if you check former Vice President Joe Bwaka, there is a limitation there. So you wouldn't find him in Jopeta Market. No, you would not find him. You wouldn't find him to EAW Junction, moving and interacting with the Keke boys and the motorbike boys. You wouldn't find him. You wouldn't find him having time with the First Time Voters Association from one angle. You wouldn't find him. You wouldn't find him walking a distance from EAW Junction somewhere, to Boulevard. You wouldn't find him doing that. It's impossible because the physicality of the individual has a problem.
The agility that the president must wield is, there's a chronological, historical, international notes that I just want to share. So 2005 we had Olusegun Obasanjo, right? Of Nigeria. So when Obasanjo's administration was done, the ticket we're seeing today, this Bwaka Cohen, was expressed in Nigeria, but guess what? It wasn't as compared to what we see today. So you had Yar'Adua, who was the president, and you had Jonathan Goodluck, who was the vice president. Yar'Adua was an elderly statesman, but he was okay before he even took the presidency. When he became president of Nigeria today, he fell ill. For almost most part of his administration, he was sick. And Jonathan Goodluck had to run that administration. If you look at the ethnical, differences in Nigeria, it posed a serious challenge to Goodluck while running the presidency as a vice president. So when Yar'Adua demise and Goodluck became president, you could see some of the confrontations that Goodluck had politically, especially with the people. The bad names he carried, despite everything he was doing as a young and aspiring, politician. But our case is a worse one because we have an octogenarian that has already served and exhausted his political agility for the last 42 years. That is currently a phase review of our national body politic. The error we're going to be making, like he said, there are certain ingredients that consummates the whole idea of the presidency. President Biden, despite his age, he's agile. You can see. Biden goes every time he goes anywhere, he's not riding a car. Biden moves. He's like a moving tree. But if you have a president who, quote unquote, a few of his stewards believes that he's the ideal integrity icon of a nation, but guess what? It's not agile. Okay, what number two? Politically, he's not alert with the people around him. The sense of connection is lacking, is there. Three, it's very divisive. The population he wants to lead, he divides the population. In our ancient time, this is the only political leader, aside from President Weah, that is doing very well, that is bringing the idea of Congo and native, which does not exist in our country anymore. I remember when President Wolo V.S. Tubman became president, the Vonjama Unification Conference was drawn up to eliminate the idea of this issue of Congo native mentality. And it was after that conference, Titi, that there were marital cross-pollination. For the first time, you could find ladies at that time, American Liberians of Congo getting married and bearing children. So from that era to this point in time, there has been a disassociation of all of those things. It's disappeared completely. It has evaporated. We don't see it. But this is the standard. This is the how you got it, a standard of a party that is bringing back these ideas as was expressed in 2017 between him and Salif. We made it very clear to Madam Salif. So political agility and your ability to connect with the people that you want to lead is key. This is something President Weah has expressed all of his years void of the presidency. I remember there were times when we were in Ghana, the Boulevard camp, even Accra, at a place called Jokers. When George Weah enters Ghana, did you? Let me tell you, every Liberian knew. In fact, it means that it was so open. If John Weah will be the Jokers this evening or the 18th, people will troop from Boulevard, Kasua, all living places will go there. And he recognizes his people, he identifies with them. He will even go to camp and play football. The Eugene Fagon that will be making noise all around here. These were people who directly interacted when we used to go to Ghana. So his ability to recognize his people didn't start from the presidency. It was something that it was a tendency that he grew up with. Because when he was leaving the soil, he left with barely enough anything. The president gave that story in the same District 4. The District 4 he visited today, he made a very revealing story during the first campaign for the general elections. And he said this. He said, when I was leaving to go to Cameroon to go and pay, he said, it was a difficult moment for me because I left with nothing. I don't have one, something of bear in my head. Nothing said inside, my clothes not even dry, I left away. So when I got there, when I got to that place, when they put out the vetting, I started doing my smarty. It wasn't even me they wanted. They wanted somebody else. But he said, this guy that was there said, your child in there, the thing you see the man doing is exceptional. He said, but there's a guy who give him $1. The token, the full size token. He said, the guy said, every time I tell you about failing, I just look at that coin and say, this man who gave me the coin. If he can earn a coin and he still have hope and give me the coin, I can have that hope. The president said he kept, every time he was challenged with this, you think about that guy, and he kept pushing. The place where the telephone was broken, the national cadet program that he's bringing back, the little thing at Telecom, He faced the telephone. Everybody would be like, oh, my man, talking about me, you got 10 Gospels in here. He said, and he carries himself in a way that today he's where he is. So he's never overlooked the connection that the ordinary people brings.
Don't despise little
He
beginnings.
don't.
Yeah.
He don't. So I mean, and that's one of the attribute of a leader.
Hate President Weah, love him, but the simplicity he brings to the presidency is something that every Liberian
Just like former leader Charles Taylor.
yeah, it's something that the Liberian people love him for. It's something that even Charles Taylor, I think the president even has surpassed Charles Taylor,
exactly.
because everybody will run to see Charles Taylor and want to. When Chancellor is around, because he has that cloud also. People want to see him. People want to know what he's up to. When he says something, people are afraid and what have you, because he was this military person, right? But unlike President Weah, who is a man of the people, and the people see themselves
Came from the people.
him. Yeah. You see yourself like him because of the way he interacts with the people. You wouldn't just see Chancellor like that.
No.
If Chancellor is passing, you see everybody running, children running on the road to come and see the president. But George Manning Weah, president of Liberia, he's on the field there playing football with everybody at the park, and everybody can go there and see the president. And even if he gets down from the car, he doesn't just walk and go. He recognizes people who are even standing by. He's just a different kind of person. He's a people person. And I think that's one of the reasons why, even with the security around and trying to do this and do that, the president is not bothered, because he knows that I'm a peaceful person. I have come to this world and I've shown myself as one person who respects everybody and respects your rights.
Exactly.
And I'm a peaceful person. So that is the way people react to people who are peaceful. Even if you want to hurt him, something tells you that, no, you can't hurt this man because he's very, very peaceful. I saw the president stand today in the midst of a lot of people and not many security people around him. All these, everybody's just there doing their own thing.
He had his hand on silver bricks like this.
Yeah.
Like the two cars, imagine a security, like two cars, his hand like this, and walking and lecturing and talking about, oh my God, yeah, in your place, how everything, talking about, my man, what you all?
It's just strange, but it is what it is.
It's
and
strange,
again, it's good for Liberia. It is, and I think for me, what I take from it is you can be an ordinary person and still be a president of your nation. And I think that is the message the president is sending to all of the young people. Liberia's population is a young population, and these people who are coming up, who are going to school, who are learning in this same country, can see their president and say, if President Weah can assume the presidency, if he can make the presidency so simple, he can come to us, he can interact with us, I think I can be a minister, I can be whosoever. This government is the government that has made governance of Liberia very, very simple.
Exactly.
You can interact with any minister, deputy minister at any place in time. You see them just everywhere and interacting with people, unless you are that minister or deputy minister who is very cocky. But the president has carried himself in a way that his lieutenants must follow suit. You don't have any option. Even if you are that proud person, you don't have an option, because the man who is the number one man in the country has made the thing so simple for the ordinary people. And you can take that from President Weah, because we can name any president or any vice president for that matter who has been able to carry themselves, in that very
Leadership
simple way.
simplicity.
Yeah, in that very simple way. No, we have not had one.
So let me tell you why, from a political perspective, why former Vice President Boakai cannot be president of Liberia and George Weah is going to be reelected. There are three significant stories in the Bible that speaks of leaders who came from humble beginnings and did very extraordinary things. One, the story that the vice tenor bearer for United Party misinformed the people of Sinai. The story of Joseph was one story. Can you imagine a man who does not even know Bible story calling himself the Joseph? You know what the story of Joseph is?
Hey, watch the Bible and say.
In the story of David, in the story of Solomon, look at David. David was an ordinary shepherd boy whose brothers limited him to looking after the flocks. Very, very, very unusual young man. That when you stood here today and David was here, you just think that one of those regular boys on the street. But God had looked into the heart of David and saw a big difference in terms of him leading because of David's humility to nature. God said, this is the person that we are going to make it.
Yeah, we take the lead.
He called Samuel. He said, Samuel, rise now and go to the house of Jesse and anoint me the next king of Israel. After the Lord had become very perplexed and tired with Saul. And Samuel, in adherence to the Lord's wish, he moved to the house of Jesse. And he asked Jesse to assemble all of his sons. Jesse brought all of his other sons. They went to the Caleb ones, very attractive, handsome ones.
Fast forward, that's
Yeah, quick. Yeah, no, I kind of know that. No, there's an analogy that connects that.
We've said it.
Saul said, "Look, I grew up in the things of the Bible. It's obvious." Saul saw some of the beautiful sons of Jesse and thought they were the king. And the Lord said to him, "I don't know your God. Do not look at the outward appearance. I look at the inward appearance of man."
Hallelujah.
To fast forward, when he has done everything, say, but all the things, God said there's one.
There is still one.
When David came and appeared before Samuel, he was shattered, his clothes was wet, with the feces and urine of the sheep smelling so bad. Samuel in himself was very disappointed. He said, this cannot be the king of Israel.
God, it's
the Lord said, rise up now, take the horn and the oil and anointing king of Israel. That is the king. It seemed to President Weah. What I'm trying to say here is that President Weah's beginning, where he started from, the way he humbled himself and brought himself to the people, even in the struggle. The man who played bottle, his best friend, when he was sleeping among the market table, a Fuller man. I met this Fuller guy at one point in time. The sister is the deputy commissioner at immigration. And the president rethinks these goods.
yeah.
And guess what? When he would do these things, he always respected people. His grandmother's devotional training that she placed in, he never forgot it. The guy would say, Mama, just imagine I'm Muslim, but the president, just imagine sleeping on the market table. The next one, let pray for sleep. The Lord took him from where he was as that common guy and set a table before him in the presence of enemy, made him world best in the whole world. That only African man who came from nowhere that nobody would have known, whose father was a mechanic, a mother a market woman, came from nowhere. I just told my president common nature.
I like your story. It was inspired in that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And God said, I'm going to prepare a table before you in the presence of people who never thought
I like
that table would be prepared. The president stood in the midst. World leaders hailed him at that time when the world was even racializing soccer. That lone black man from nowhere, from a country that was little known about, stood tall and became that world best and held that Ballon d'Or in his hand. Then he stopped there. God said, I'm not done with you yet. I still have a plan for you. You will go to Liberia and you will make sure peace return to your country. Make sure Weah came back despite all the trivialities. He came here and struggled among the people everywhere there were Liberians in the country around the world. He went there. When elections came, 2005, he wasn't thinking about it. His thoughts was the LFA presidency. God said, no, you will become the LFA president. I have a plan for you. I'm not going to make you LFA president. I'm going to make you the president of Liberia. Big boss Saki and other people came and met him. They will see you. We want you to run as president. He said, no. I said, we want you to run. Ordinary people went to him, said, we want you to run as president. He said, okay, I will tell you about it. He controlled the fund message, try. 2005, when he entered the political space, the number of people that came out in mass to go behind his name, he said, but where are the people coming from? So you saw the Madam Salif that had been in the political front line from the days of the progressives and beyond. Even Thomas Samuel Doe, to some extent, could not stand the wave of George Weah when he came. 2011, he said, God, maybe they take it from me. He said, okay, you know what? I want you to go through the ranks of fast. He went as vice senator to Winston Tubman. CDC lost the election. 2014, God said, I will prepare you for the great day. Go run as senator. The son of a sitting president with access to wealth and resources, the natural and national resources available to this man. We have one Robert Sedi Lensai in Moswada County.
Even though he used the wealth
Thank
that
you.
he had, but he still couldn't do anything.
Exactly, and became the senator of Moswada County. Then they made him the caucus chair. Recognize, identify projects in Moswada County, help the people. 2017, when a hardened, divisive, very envious and ungrateful politician decided to go against this man, God said, this is the time that table I was preparing for you will be unveiled to the country. 2017, President Weah went against this black guy and whipped him as if to say he was never in politics before. Was it enough? 2017, he became president. The world was shocked by COVID-19. The same way Israel was ransacked by famine, no food. Liberians had no way to turn. Guess what? This man sailed over the last 6 years. Over the last 6 years, with no international big support, no huge donor funding or everything, was able to replace all the monies that were taken from our foreign reserve, over 227 million. The countryman who came from nowhere, the man who got prepared to work before present enemies, was able to resuscitate this country's economy. So if that doesn't tell you that George Weah is ordained to be president of Liberia by God, then you don't have a head.
And to ground it up, let's just go straight to the MCC scorecard, because if the last time that our government passed it before President Weah came to power is 2007. In 2007 happened right after former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, came to power. But with all of that, all of the time they stayed in power, it never happened. And when President Weah came to power, it was in 2022. We did 12 out of 20. And today now
14
out of 20.
Because obviously you have to pass certain indicators before you can be eligible. Today now Liberia has an opportunity, even though people have said that President Weah, as so many presidents say, Liberia will go down the drain because he didn't know what he was doing and the economy was going to go down to nothing. But with COVID-19 and all of the not support from the international community, because obviously we know that all of the peacekeepers left this country. Peacekeepers in your country means a lot to you.
It means your country is destabilized.
It's destabilized, and these people are being paid. Some money is going around in the economy. These are foreign people who get money. So the money goes around. But if they are gone because your country is stable, you can't get any international support like that.
300 plus million was taken away.
It's gone out of the economy. So you can imagine what this government had to deal with. And in the midst of all of that, we've seen massive development. Take it or leave it. There are areas where when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's government left power, where we never had roads, we never had hospitals. But today, it's a totally different thing. Most of the schools around the country now, they have been, they're in very good shape. Very, very good shape than they were before 12 years ago, or 12 years. I don't like to say 12 years ago because it's not 12 years since former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf left the presidency. But she was in, Joseph Juma Boakai was in, in government those 12 years as vice president with all of the international support that they were getting. Imagine a George Weah presidency getting all of that support. You can imagine how Liberia would have looked like. Just do your comparison. You have a government in power 6 years now, struck with COVID-19, but not much international support as the government that stayed in power for 12 years. Imagine over 1,000 the kilometers of road when they
1,300 something.
30 something. Yeah. But the kilometers of roads that were constructed since 1847
was around 725.
Yes, that is before President Weah, but it's inclusive of all of the governments. Then this government that didn't have the support that it had alone.
It was 600 kilometers.
How do you do a comparison between those two governments?
It was 600 kilometers.
Should be known.
How do you compare?
On 6 years
how
too.
do you come as, you know, a most recent past government that was not able to do roads, you know, like that with all of the support you had, and you have the audacity to say that this government is not doing well and you want to remove the government to come?
And
the person who is saying to us that, you know, I want to come and, you know, rescue you is that person who told us that they squandered the opportunities they had 12 years ago to make our lives better. Reasoning comes in right here. For 12 years, you had an opportunity to make our lives better. You were the second man in command. To be second man in command, it means that decisions will not be taken without your acquiescence. It's not possible. You can't tell me that if you say you are all car parked in the garage, then if you are this person who stands for something, you should say, no, I can't be this old car parked in the garage here. And I'm saying, let's do this. Nobody listens to me because the person who's in charge is a dictator and I remain there. I need to step aside because I'm looking at the future. And in the future, I want to steer the affairs of this country. And to do that, I must stand for something. The thing I'm standing for is to say, look, you know what, madam, I don't think I can make it because I want to, you know, I want my country to be better. I don't think you're doing it the right way. So I'm stepping aside. But I can sit with you, wine and dine with you. We make all of the decisions. And because I want to assume the presidency, all I do is say, you know, God is God all by himself. You cannot. Because there are things we say today, tomorrow those things will haunt us.
Exactly.
I think Ambassador Boubacar said last when he was running in 2017 to make former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf look very bad.
The worst thing that has ever happened.
Haunting him today. Because you cannot tell the Liberian people that you and your husband live together in the same house, but this man was this, he was that, he was the other, but you stayed there.
And you shined.
Yes.
You were looking so good.
Yes. But because you want this other man and you're thinking that you will give this justification and that man is going to agree, it's not going to happen.
I want a little point.
It's not going to happen.
I want to lay a point. And, you know, I would love the Liberian people to sensitize the statements from former Vice President Boubacar when he said about when he talked about the squander. I listened to his I think his platform. He said he has something called Arrest, and they're going about with this rescue. You know, I that thing just dropped in my mind while Titi was laying the basis and providing all of the necessary information. Now he talked about I think Arrest is he omitted one of the hours and put one. It's like education, Arrest, agriculture, roads, right? Education, something else, and tourism. Yes, that's the platform. Now, I was thinking in my mind, using my own personal deduction about the role of the former vice president when he was, the former vice president for the last 18 years now in number, right? Now, this former vice president is telling the Liberian people, we gotta sensitize our people. He's telling the Liberian people that he's going to take interest in education. He's going to take interest in roads, right? But the first thing is, let's draw our conclusive analysis. This is the man who said, if these roads ain't better, I ain't coming back here in Nova County. You understand? But this man was the vice president of the entire entire republic for the last 12 years of the past leadership. Now, what has been his ability, to influence the leadership to construct rules? From 1847 up to 2017, the entire road connector in the country was about 600 plus kilometers. Today, we are counting 1,300 plus kilometers. Now, do the math and tell which one of the governments is really interested in road connectivity. This vice president, who had 12 years of knocking and
piloting
the country's resources, and he was very taciturn and quiet, and he didn't speak about corruption when his former boss said, she couldn't control the issue of corruption. She couldn't control certain things in their government. He couldn't speak about it, but only to express and exemplify, ingratitude to the higher extent. He said, we had the opportunities, but we squandered those opportunities. You squandered the opportunity. So you think I was politically sympathetic to appeal to the Liberian people and say, I could do better, but I never had the authority, so that's the reason why I did. No, we stupid here. You understand? The Liberian people deserve education. What was your influence as former vice president? You were a major player in all of the decision-making process in the executive that will positively affect the country. You're talking about education today. What did you do in Lofa County? We don't want to put ethnicity in the discussion. No. What did your contribution do in Bone County when it comes to education? What did you do in Nima County, in Bapolu, in Bomi, in other parts of the country? Who told you can make significant impact in being vice president? But you were quiet. You only enjoy the salary and the budget allotted to you, and you didn't care. You didn't think about anything. But you think that the sympathy you would have used to blackmail and to and to bring the former president to public ridicule and say, I was just the vice president, right?
Let me ask you people. Maybe we're getting something wrong here. And I don't know. I'm just thinking aloud. Former Vice President Bouaka said we squandered opportunities. And listening to what Costa said, that he has to, solicit funding for the former vice president. Let's leave the campaign alone, right? Because people will justify that if you're running in campaigns, you don't take your personal money from your pocket. I agree with you. But to some extent, I agree with you. But if you will have to ask for money for you to survive, then what did he do with the money he made as former vice president for 12 years? Is that what he squandered also?
So first thing, I was about to address that. But first of all, I want to start by saying, let's scrap the OCA. Let's scrap it. You know why?
Let's do it.
When the Millennium Compact, the MCC scope car, under the Madam Solis administration, this vice president who said to you he was an OCA pact, he was the one who accompanied Amara Collin to the US to sign for $250 million that the claim would have been pushed to the Liberian University Corporation.
$250
million.
That is no small money.
Correct. And guess what? The money came. The hydro, burn for this administration most recently was still substandard. The insufficiency,
but it's still substandard.
The insufficiency of the legislature had to drive this administration on 6 years to raise something around $60+ million to invest in the CLSG. Let's scrap the OCA.
$250 million.
That's just
for the hydro. And you could only produce
decentralized electricity
because
between I think about 22 or 23 megawatts.
20 because it was 64 during the William V. Stadtman brought it up to 64. So we have 88 now. So it's what 22 megawatts. They were able to.
So you see, let's scrap the OCA. When you tell us,
you take 250
but that's what I'm telling you.
To give us 22 megawatts.
That's not just 250 million. It's even more. So you see the RIA road has been connected today, the thing of the other places. They also received 5 million euros for electricity connection from the EU. Guess what? They didn't buy a single light pole. Let's scrap this old car. This very old car was the same old car used to go and collect that money. He stood behind Amara Kone and he signed the 250 million for the million contract challenge. Put the money to Liberia, share the money among themselves. That's why lazy Amara Kone, a finance minister who was cherry picked, you understand, by Madam Salif because of his complacent friendship with Robert Salif, who became a finance minister without any competence to the core to that very position. Squandered our national budget in this country, who became a national notorious budget shortfall minister. Let's scrap the Oka. This same Oka who said to Liberian people that it was inactive, played a major role in sourcing funds for the Unity Party-led government across the globe. This Oka that today criticizes Madam Salif was an active ingredient on raising funds and receiving huge kickbacks or bogus concessions that were signed in this country. This Oka, whose office received $2.5 million every single year for 12 years, making it about $36 million in 12 years. It's telling you today that he knows of no. This is the same Oka that we need to scrap. That's been very insincere to Liberian people. You see, that's the reason why I told you I say President Weah is an extraordinary president. He's extraordinary because the things that they shared in the darkness, he's brought them to light. This very Oka was a part and parcel of the depletion of our national revenue or national reserve. For what 300 million, when the government came, they only made 106 million. Guess what? 227 million waiting air. The same Oka. The same Oka who said it's calling resources. They had a mop-up exercise of 150 million in 2015. No records of that money.
And Amara Kone has the audacity.
That was a finance minister.
Audacity.
He was finance minister. They same Oka.
Money and give it to all of their relatives around.
This same Oka. This same very Oka was also part and parcel of the over 15 million microfinance that was dished out by the Central Bank of Liberia for small businesses. That Oka, including Amara Kone. Okay, so when these people are talking about removing this president, we need to ask these people, are you serious? Because the very things that you didn't do since 1847, a country, you had 12 years of numerous and voluminous international support. But our road connectivity still remains at it was around 726 kilometers.
All they did was to just pocket money, buy car slips, buy big cars. And the only thing, the saddest thing about
when they reach the pocket and pissing the children or international scholarships that they will abscond, they will not even go to.
And they have nothing to show, but they will come here and talk about what do you call it? You guys help me now.
What's that?
No, but you got to pause and try.
I was just telling you.
No, they're talking about the only reason why they want to remove this government, because if you're just an immediate past government, you must say we did this for this country, we've done this. This is our. No, not only that, because of the this exercise that was
the harmonization.
The harmonization. A very lazy argument, because you should have done that when you had everything within your powers to do that.
The harmonization.
You escaped that because you wanted to still steal from the Liberian people. You wanted to stay riot big cars. The people who are pushing this harmonization are those people who were in the Unity Party government, who were making, thousands of dollars, while those people who they called nothing were making, one person is making $5,000 and the other person is making $500 because of your connection to maybe the minister. You are here as a consultant and you're making $3,000, and then this person who is working honestly is making $350, but you really don't care. And when these monies are harmonized, they get so offended, and they know that they should have done that, but they say they can't do it.
I just wanted to come in. Something just dropping.
Yeah, I'm coming. You come.
Yeah.
You come back to the Liberian people and you use harmonization as they cut your money. If you were to come back to power, are you going to give back that money? You're not going to give it back, because these are criteria set by the World Bank that Liberia must do this before
say that.
they can get anything from them. So if you even came back to power, you don't have the power to change that. So don't fool anybody. You come back after 12 years, you're telling us that President we have brought Kush. You and immediate past government don't have anything to campaign with. You were just here 12 years back. You don't have anything to say, okay, we made the education system of our country better. And look at what President Weah is doing now. It has gone from better to worse. So we need to come back to power. Tell us, say the health system was very, very okay when we left the country. You see how it's gone back to nothing? Let's take this man from power. Tell us that, you know what? Everything was rosy. You had electricity. Today the country is dark. Those are reasons why the Liberian people would sit back and say, yes, that's true. Unity Party was there. We had electricity. The schools were better. The health system was better. We had good roads. Now, President Weah can fix the roads. Now all the schools are bad. Now hospitals are this. Those are tangible reasons why people will want to unseat a government.
So-
You left everything in a very bad shape. You left it with a government that didn't have an opportunity that you had. 16 billion direct foreign investment came to this country. You were not able to make our health system better. JFK was just for killing because nobody will go there. Madonna Scott will go to whatever country, she will fly out of here just to get treatment. She was the administrator of the JFK. The JFK was a mess. Nothing was there. None of them took treatment there. Even if at the telecommunication, one of the weeks was there.
We fly private jet regularly.
She was flew out of here.
Private jet regularly.
Private jet.
Sabasi Moa was whining and dining in Kive. He bought a luxury property in
And
Kive.
these people have the audacity.
These are people talking here.
The thing about it is that is why we say President Weah is the Facebook president. Everything is on Facebook now. What is happening now? When the former vice president was vice president 12 years back and everything was open on Facebook today, those are the things people will remind them about. But the thing the Liberian people have forgotten what they did before. No, I'm saying everything now is on Facebook.
Yeah, but he even know
Back then, if we had Facebook,
yes,
where you would see
information is
the Ebola time, the way they
accessible.
treated people in this country with all of the monies that came. That's why I see Talbot Nyenswa, out of Liberia, and he would say some mean things. Those are the people who squandered opportunities here for us. We know what happened during the Ebola time and how the Joseph Boakai government treated the Liberian people. We know how many persons died here without care. It was the Sir Joseph. I used to live across the bridge. Look, one day, people were just in their homes dying. The government had no time. Those guys in Simple Bridge, they blocked the road. They said, nobody is using this route because our people are dying and the government is not doing anything about it. Those dead bodies that are in their homes and we don't have anywhere to go, if you guys don't come and take those bodies from there, nobody will move a step. They blocked the roads. The only thing the government had to do was that was the first time I was tear gassed. We ran into people's homes. They followed the people who were blocking the roads. The police followed them in their homes. They were tear gassing everywhere. It took Sir Joseph, because it was only Sir Joseph who came that day and told the people he came, and then he begged those people and said, I will take the bodies from there. And he went in that Simple Bridge. If people who were around at the time, and I'm sure somebody will call from Simple Bridge because we were in the thick of everything at the time. We went from place to place, taking out bodies, Ebola. The government did not know what to do. People were just dying. And when the money came, they only knew how to eat it.
So what you saw they were building properties?
He got properties. He got rich at the expense of people who died here. And they can have the audacity to say that this government has not done well for the people. When all the monies they got, they just enriched themselves at the detriment of the poor people in this country. But history is an early warning alarm system.
It has
These
a way to
people
remind.
have no whatsoever. They don't have anything to say to the Liberian people that will convince us that President Weah has not done well under these, with 6 years, in power. Then them who had 12 years and squandered opportunities. Look at the health system. JFK, it was nothing. Look at JFK now. With our own resources as a country, domestic revenue. Look at JFK today. We have, the hospital in Agbapolu. It was because when the president went, they were all around this place talking about the president has gone, he has left the country, he's doing this, he's doing that. But you have the Agbapolu hospital today. The people can benefit something from there, right? Mm-hmm. Let's look at the schools. Look at what the education minister is doing. Look at the schools around the country.
Yep.
Look at what's happening. The thing that happened to the Liberia, anything is about politics and politics. I see on Spoon, they have the students there, jeering when Minister Twe went there and they say, we want good life. Everything is political. They need good life. This government is giving them good life. Those are the same students.
We have decided to follow the Lord. We have decided to follow we are. We have decided to follow we are. No turning back. No turning back.
To county here where people were sitting, animals, and the students
But
in the same classroom.
They were classmates.
Titi, what did I say the last time? I said something to you the last time, Titi. I said to you that in the last 12 years, and I want Liberians to listen to this and do the research, the Unity Party government put over 150,000 young Liberians out of school, public schools, while at the same time educating a few handful of confidants in their midst to Harvard universities, to the Cambridge, to the Luxembourg University, all these places. What this government has done, this government has removed the wedge that forbids young Liberian, even in the adult legislative program. I was coming just now, and I was having a conversation with the guy that was bringing me, and he said, "I get married about woman going to school in there." I said, "Say thank you to the president because he's supporting the adult legislative program to enable our mothers to just have the basic reading and writing skills, so that when the potential woman in the market and she wants to make a little list, she can make it." Mm-hmm. What the 12 years did to us in this country with regards to our education system, there was no quality control. There was massive dilapidation of public schools and structures across the country. Mm-hmm. The curriculum was berserk. It was very, very bad. Plus, many young Liberians could not even afford to go to their own public schools. So when people want to consider why they should elect President Weah against Joseph Boakai, they should take a look at the different activities. This is the president who introduced a multifaceted vision for Liberia that encapsulated many different activities all at once. You were talking about Ebola. At that time, I would not call it Lebanese business. I used to work for a Lebanese business in Liberia, my first time. And they then do a law school when Ebola came. That business, why they were, you know what they were doing? They were downsizing our people with no benefit. It happened across the country. Because of my proficiency and my professional nature to the work that I was doing for them, they couldn't downsize me, because downsizing me at that point in time would definitely mean that they'll be losing serious resources. But I have my objection. And I said, if you are downsizing these people who have been serving you at a critical point in time, and I see you buying, serious. Look, I bought 50 bags of rice just for one year in law school. 50 bags of rice, sanitary materials, all the things. And he came and said thank you, and saw young Liberians being put down to sit down home, no benefit. He was receiving that rice, carrying it home, content. And I said to myself, this is complete nonsense. And I resigned. I resigned on grounds that this wasn't the country that I know. If my people can go home because of a pandemic that they didn't bring to themselves without a benefit, and the government sits and watch, you will see labor, how you call it, those guys on labor ministry will kind of collect the stuff. Most of the Lebanese businesses today that got a fixed payroll, they had two. They had the one that when they come, they will just say, we'll give you stamp pay. We'll give you the stamp pay. I saw brothers making $40, making $30, and they will get hernia at the end of time because with the offloading, so the whole container come, they will offload these containers. That government indulged us into massive human drudgery, slavery. That government put over 150,000 of our young people out of public schools.
Don't go to the school, stick with the Ebola and compare it to the corona. What did the government do?
The government maintain the salaries of every civil servant, even while they stay home. That's the reason why I'm surprised.
That happened during the Ebola time?
How will it happen during Ebola time? Ebola time, you done. You're done. Nobody gave a heck about you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you see, so I love it when history reminds us in the earliest version of ourselves. The people today who run around United Party business, who once we are out and once back are in, they were people who lived here to see these different scourges of the different viruses that affect our country.
The Jake Macaulay today, who is going to be what the
Minister of State,
proposed Minister of State.
That
guy during the 2011 elections, I was with Sky FM, and I think it was 2014 when
Robert. It was before Sky was closed, right?
Robert Sirleaf. Yeah, Sky. No, they didn't.
Was it Sky that was closed? One of those stations.
They didn't.
One of the stations was closed under the party government.
They closed Ben and Ayure's radio station. Okay. They even closed Power for some time during the November 7th, when they didn't want them to air that very bad assassination attempt on the president's life. Yeah. So he came to the office and then he says, it was Steve Max who said, Jake Kabakali wants to see you because we're doing the what is the name of the show? Just Another Day, JD. I was doing the show with Robert Clark. Robert Sirleaf had gone to we were really on him like white on rice because he went to Red Hair Fee and he made an assertion about how Ebola will kill our people. And we came and then we said that, and that didn't go down well with the people of Montserrat because he was running. That was when he was running against the president in Montserrat County. That evening, Timas just said, you know what, Titi, Robert, he called Robert and said, Jake Kabakali is coming to see you people. And then Robert came to me. I was in the newsroom. So the Baby said, Jake Kabakali coming to see us. I said, see us for what? He said, I know what he said he wanted to us. That one came under the cover of darkness.
Nicodemously.
And he was there. You guys have to leave Robert Sirleaf alone. We're going to buy you a car. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. He thought.
Bribing the press.
Yeah. He finished now. Robert said, oh yeah, we'll get back to you. He took off $100.
And that former vice president's nephew, they're the same people.
Jake.
The money too good for them.
Yeah. And then we went.
Complete muscle.
Yeah. So then we went in the office and Robert and I decided that is absolute nonsense. We're not going to do that. And then my boss called. So we told him that we're not going to do what he asked us to do. I'm just saying this because these are the kind of people who claim to be,
people of integrity.
People,
yes,
people of integrity, and they're the best. He was getting money from Robert Sirleaf because he wanted Robert Sirleaf to win the elections. He knew that the Liberian people were really not in favor of Robert Sirleaf because of the things that were coming from his mouth and because of what he was doing to Nukal and all of that. And his role as, Robert Sirleaf in Liberia. But this is the man who was going from station to station, bribing people to make sure that, buying the press to make sure that Robert Sirleaf becomes the senator. And he was not doing it for free.
We see 5,000 out of us and they get $100.
The same thing Costa is saying. He's the middleman. He's always the middleman.
Yeah.
He gets 50,000 from Spoon. What is
And he will not show anything.
And he will not even show that to
And he will eat it alone.
Ambassador
Yeah, I don't even see the money blowing it down.
And Ambassador Bwaka knows that this is the person who is criminal in nature. But you have this person very close to you.
Her nephew now.
But you claim, spare me.
So,
Then
no,
how are you going to rescue
I'm
this
saying from a cynical perspective.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. You said something, Titi. You said something, and I wanted to, draw the analysis from that. You talked about the harmonization. The Unity Party and the rest of the folks, they're talking about the harmonization. The harmonization became an impediment and blah, blah, blah. They're going to use that to do their campaign. But let's be honest here. Outside of the harmonization, when we were, the Unity Party leadership was receiving all of the donuts from our international partners in their tens of thousands and millions of dollars. They're wearing a free tuition policy in the country when there was no harmonization. The hospitals being built across the country when the monies were flowing in the country.
JFK was a mess.
JFK was a mess.
But a certain group of people were enjoying
exactly. A certain group of people who were on regular flights.
Regular different payroll.
Regular flights.
LBS and
three different payrolls. But there was no harmonization. There was no harmonization. There were monies coming into this country, but there were no playgrounds for the children. There were no harmonization. There were monies coming into this country. There were absolutely no increment in our medical doctors' salaries. There were
that money that was being paid by the international community. This government had to assume that responsibility.
2,500
because President Weah would not put these people down.
Exactly.
They say you either put these people down or you pay the money.
Exactly.
Mr. President says, I can't put my people down. I will pay that.
There were no harmonization.
Yeah. They were not paying this. They were not paying. The president is paying now.
The money they're supposed to pay, they took up to them their personal pockets.
Yes,
they had the flash of life, the opulence. They were in the opulence.
Yes,
exactly.
You're right.
Now there were no harmonization, Daniel. There were no harmonization when all of our government schools around here, the president of the Republic of Liberia said the educational system is a total mess. There were no harmonization. Today there is harmonization. There is harmonization. You have the playgrounds being constructed all across Montserrat County, and to go beyond. Today there is harmonization, and you have the increment in teacher salary. Today there is harmonization. You have the rehabilitation in high schools. Today there is harmonization.
No wax fees.
You understand? Today there is harmonization. You have the wax fees being paid. Today there is harmonization. You have the university free education.
So you choose.
So you choose now.
So the money should be used on every one of us, or it just a few handful of people.
But again, Titi, we need to also do justice to our people by reminding them that the harmonization that we're talking about today met the consensus of some of the very United Party lawmakers.
Of course.
Okay.
Who are chanting all of this.
Exactly. So you see the deception, hypocrisy here. Mm-hmm. This harmonization was not a method imposed by the executive. Okay, it met the consensus of the national legislature. In fact, there were contentions among some lawmakers that they were not prepared to even cut the money. You remember, right?
Of course.
People that former other people fought this.
The Unity Party people, because they knew it didn't matter.
Yes.
It didn't matter to them.
Even people like Senator Johnson, when he went to the Senate, they all approved it. So I don't delve or dignify this news of the harmonize your pay, and you see, they should be very honest to tell the people that under the Liberian law, by government structure, it is the civil service agency who statutorily structures civil servant salaries.
Who sets the pay grade?
Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, in our 12 years when we came, we decided to disregard.
Your 12 years?
I'm explaining in their context. Okay. They refuse to tell Liberian people that under our 12 years, what we did was we developed what we call a discretionary allowance payroll. Mm-hmm. This payroll that even some, just imagine the amount on our payroll was almost 8 times the amount on the general payroll as CSA. So they have refused to tell our people that one. They've also refused to tell our people that when this president came, he decided, look, we'll do a merger, we'll combine everything together, and we'll bring everybody at an equilibrium based on all your qualification and the level of work being done. They refuse to say that.
So you can be the driver
Exactly.
of the director general and make a lot of money, and then the other driver who even does a lot of work
And he makes
carrying
less.
everybody every night, but he makes less.
Only
And
because he better,
because you're
man.
close to the
So imagine,
director general, you
Yeah.
make that kind of money.
so imagine Titi Jipo and Jala Griffith right now, right? They are 2 deputy directors. But Titi is in the office of the president or is connected to the party. Jala Griffith is an outsider who to some extent was able to one of the president confidant got the job. 15 bags of rice were allotted on both sides for the different pay grade. Jala and Titi got the same pay grade at the level of CSA. But because Titi is in the office of the former vice president or is a unity partisan, Titi received 35 bags of rice, while Jala, instead of receiving 15, he received 3 bags of rice.
Yeah, but that already going to me. So
That was
So
it.
Jala's rice has gone to you, plus other people with even in the same sector rice has gone to you.
of course.
That is the nature. That's the kind of
how they run
hazardous.
the government.
Exactly.
And they didn't care
So
about
and they didn't care. And guess what? Now what they usually do, which shows a deceptive nature, of leadership in these people, is that they don't tell the Liberian people the truth.
But how are they going to do that?
So that's the reason why we always say to our people,
course.
go and research for yourself. The international community that was supporting and funding the health pool, it's not that they couldn't keep up with the program, but they became fatigued over the useless spending of international monies that were yielding no result. It was affecting the ordinary health workers who were putting in all the best. When people like Thomas Newswater had millions of dollars at their disposal, the ordinary health worker, the ordinary nurse, could barely afford
What did
to
the
script.
Unity Party government do to Joseph Tamba and his deputy here?
You talk about
How
it.
many years he sat down, he didn't work because
Very
he was
well.
advocating for
Yeah.
the health workers.
Very well.
And I always ask them this question: since President Weah came to power, where are they? Where do you
Where are the
have
advocates?
workers, protesting?
Even students.
During their 12 years in power, the teachers, the health workers,
The
protest-
public schools.
Yeah, it was the order of the day.
Yeah.
And the Unity Party folks have the audacity to come and tell people that they can do better because it's just all wine in new body.
Everything that's happening today,
It's just
everything that
is
is going
why
to do
I
happened
continue
yesterday.
to say that because now social media is just open now.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's good. But if it was that way, then the Unity Party people don't have anything to
They
say.
don't have anything.
Because we'll just bring out all of the protest during every
Everything.
day at the finance ministry. It seemed as, because I was with Sky FM then, so it was just like, this is a new assignment. Because if you don't see teachers, you will see health workers. If you don't see health workers, you go to Capitol Building, you will
You see people. You will see one ministry.
you will
people,
see
you see
another
different
group of
things
people
happen.
there protesting. And you will sit here today and say, President, we are brought kush in the country because you don't have anything to show for 12 years that you've been in power. You can tell us that we did this better and it's going down and want to do it better. You came and said that small light today, big light tomorrow.
Where is it?
We never saw that small light. We use generator here until our ears are having problems. It took a government that doesn't have all of the international support that you had to make sure that we have current now and it's getting better gradually.
But
I listened to Minister Twe today when he talked about, the 88 megawatts of current that the hydro is producing. And as a result now of this eligibility that Liberia has now to get fundings from the MCC Compact, this government is thinking about increasing it to 300 plus. That is a government that thinks about,
that's what I said. The government has got multifaceted views of what she wants to do.
The best for her people, because every government is instituted to do nothing but good, make the lives of the ordinary people
That's your
better.
mandate.
But the Unity Party-led government, 12 years, recent past government, all they did was, make the lives of certain group of people in the government, the bourgeoisie, to continue to, have wealth. The sad part about it is some of them did not use them. They squandered money properly. And as a result, today,
they thought that government job was an
they
inheritance.
thought that they would have, stayed in power. Unfortunately for them, 2017 came, and before their eyes, they left power. And that is something that is, it's getting to them because their lives are becoming, when you steal anything you put your hand to. Me, I'm a Christian, so I already know that. Some of you like stealing, and you think when you steal, you will not get caught. You go and ask Witherspoon. But if you steal anything you do, it will come after you. You stole, you have gas slips, you had, everything for 12 years. You didn't make, because you didn't think that everything will go away one day. You thought you will be in power forever. Power has left you. You feel that you're empty. And the only thing you can do is to lie your way back to power. You can't just do that with other people around because people know exactly what you were doing. There are people who work in this government today who are making less than you made before, but their lives are better and they have used their heads. And so their lives will be better even if they are not in this government. If President Weah wins election and they are not in the government, they will still live a better life because they know that they work honestly and what they work for, they put it to use. But because these guys, they were bourgeoisies. They were buying cars. They were doing this. They were doing that. They didn't use the money they had properly. They're broke. And the only thing they can do now is to lie their way back to power.
That's what I said.
That's all they can do.
Colleagues, there is a renaissance that points to the bourgeoisie and the proletariats, okay, in world history. And President Weah has refused to allow us to have that same conceptual mentality. What is it? So it was a clash between the most ordinary and affected citizens and those of the wealthy class and confidants of the wealthy class. What the Unity Party did in the last 12 years was they created people out of occupational convenience. Okay? Aside from being a bourgeoisie or a class of the elites in the country, there were people who enjoyed the convenience and convenience, at the point in time because of the occupational relationship they have with them. All right. When this president came, if you look at the employment component of the scorecard that we've passed, with very good marks too, it points to the fact that the International Poverty Index of 2016 tells you that there were more Liberians, in poverty. But guess what, Titi? Go see the International Poverty Index today. There's a downturn. More Liberians are moving with the parameters set for considering who is poor and who is amongst the poorest of the poor. You come to realize that Liberia, under this administration, has made a tremendous, a downturn in that direction, moving people away from poverty through the opportunities created through, private sector employments. Okay? And this is what they don't want you Liberians to know. They don't want you to know that this president has placed more young Liberians. In fact, there is access to money. Many times they point finger and say, when you try to receive plenty young people selling on the road, it shows that the country has no. It doesn't show that the country has.
No.
It shows it shows that there is access to resources, money, physical money, that money. And because the people have access to that resource, whether it's huge or small, they're able to spin it to keep themselves moving. And if somebody spins, if somebody hawks on that road, depending on what he or she is hawking, for a year or two, you know what happens? With the consistency in that hawking, that person's lifestyle changes. It has affected the poverty index in Liberia to a positive extent. So when they are unable to say to us what they've done that this person has not done, all we see as Liberians is sheer hatred for a man who has exposed Liberians, the mass of the population, to things that they never thought existed. Like what Washington said. We've exposed Liberians to the possibilities of having free public universities, access. So the mayor in Bogonjile can send his son or daughter to Tupper University in Maryland County. The official mayor who is on high seas from morning to evening can send his daughter or son to the most prestigious Tupper University. Similarly, in Montreal County, we have been able over the last 6 years to have fund over $250,000 young Liberians. WASC. They take it for a joke, but serious. $20 million has been invested by this administration. We've been able to improve on our early childhood development sector in this country. We've been able to improve on TVET. Currently, the government has got a TVET or institutions all across the country, and even building more. Okay, so when you are talking about removing a leadership that has exposed the very things you hate from the people, you see, a country develops when the mass of the population has got direct access to economic activities of the country. Anything contrary to that, if just a few handful of people are always in touch with wealth, guess what happened today? You don't create citizens' wealth. Countries like Uganda, Rwanda, those countries we talk about, Kenya, there is an index that points to citizens' wealth. Wealth has been created amongst the people by the government to the public-private sector initiatives that has been ongoing in these countries. Did we do it yesterday? No. Are we doing it today? Yes. We have placed more young Liberians in the way of opportunities as compared to the last 12 years. Today, a young Liberian can easily go to public schools. I was listening to the audio you talk about that video, you want to play with the students. I laugh. You want a good life? Yes. Everybody, it is the right under the Constitution to have a good life. But guess what? It is also a roll-out activity of the government. To enable you have a good life, the first thing government must do, government must upgrade the institution that is going to educate you. Has this government done it? Yes. As expressed by some of the achievements on the educational component. That is power to the people. Our argument on the first panel of the program of Geneva Prosperity and Development, power to the people, panel 1, is giving access to the population in terms of resources. How do we do that? We focus on the pivotal point, education. With education, people will discern between what is good and what is bad.
Of course, and that is what's happening now.
Exactly.
That is why you have an opportunity to ask for good life,
Right.
and the audacity to even run around with this.
Yesterday-
You didn't give these people that opportunity.
Do-
You people are now complaining.
Yes, you can ask for good life today.
We're going to elections. And, there are news and reports about the Unity Party not even paying pool washes. They're not thinking about that. You're posting on Facebook that students are asking for good life. They didn't even have an opportunity to ask for good life. They didn't have teachers to teach them. You didn't pay the teachers,
No.
and the teachers were protesting. So at some point in time, those students were in the streets with their teachers protesting.
Everybody was
so
there.
They're in school. They're in school and they're saying improve. We want materials in our science lab. Good. They need those things. They're gonna have it. Rome was not built
In a day.
And as you have a government that is looking forward to making your lives better, the only thing you can do is to continue to maintain the peace.
Yeah.
They just brought that piece up. Let's play you before we open the lines. Let's play you how appreciative these students were when contrary to what you see them posting on Facebook. Let's play you what these
We have decided to follow the Lord. We have decided to follow We have decided to follow Okay, We have decided to follow the Lord. We have decided to follow We have decided to follow
Okay, so you heard the students for yourself.
We have decided to follow we are.
So it tells you that's a different. Anyway, we're in electioneering period, but
Yeah,
again, we
all-
have
all
an
kinds of
opportunity
things.
to tell you what exactly. That was just a sidebar, if after the minister was leaving, but he had this conversation with the students and their administrators. But when he was leaving, obviously you will always have
Yes.
some people who will want to
There-
miss
there was
It's a homogeneous society.
that is the
so
society.
you expect that.
And you see Unity Party folks running with that because they were not able to do anything better for the students. Today it's better, and they think that's the only thing they can put on Facebook for people to be convinced and go their way. You guys better go and pay the people, the pool washers you're not being able to pay. You hear we're even okay, let me leave that for tomorrow.
The most,
up the lines.
yeah, opening up.
Yeah.
Guess what? The most protestations in this country by public schools are the last 12 years.
Of course.
Do you see it now?
Not in the last 12 years.
Even beyond.
The 12 years of Joseph Human Boaka and former President Ellen Johnson
I know.
Sirleaf. That is
Do you see it now?
no.
Okay. Is this not?
Good evening.
Let me say good evening to Daniel Washington. This is the voice of Eric Taylor behind the physician, and I joined the conversation from District 3 most of our country. And let me say thank you this evening for the conversation. Yeah, you see, CSTP, President Weah's story is so inspiring as Jesus Christ's own story. The Bible teaches us about Jesus Christ, where he was born, he was out there throughout until he began to preach out the gospel, began to heal, began to perform miracles. It was when the very people got to believe that Jesus Christ is indeed the Son of God. But back then, people were doubting, is this the Son of God? Is this, can anything good come from Nazareth? That is the kind of story of President Weah. That's why you see, for some of us who are in the slum, who are living in the slum community, Waylon,
You're alive, Pascal. Go ahead.
thank you. I know I'm receiving some feedback, but let me manage it. Yeah, I'm Emmanuel M. Super Junior, and I join you from Intellectual Class of Two Community of District number 14 area. Let me say good evening to Daniel and Washington. Well, tonight I'm really impressed by the analysis made by the of you. Especially I've learned a slang from Daniel. Yeah, I think I'm listening to let's scrap the car. Yes, so Daniel, I want to stop the car. And President Weah, if you get to President Weah and you take to the United Party 6 years, with couple of the amount of money that the United Party received from the DNC as a former vice president, if you get to the car, President Weah is that this or and I'm saying this is what he did for you over 12 years, or this is the opportunity he gave to people. I don't see it, but anytime I turn around, I see people getting testimony about the president. They should have a mental president. So what are we doing in the line? We want to encourage our people, those who are from end to end, please go back to your circle. Let me tell you back so that you can go and vote like this. We want all the vote. The vote comes for us. Please start to believe so that you get this time and vote where you register. Thank you very much for putting in the time.
Okay, thank you. And so I think we will not take calls from the landline. Call us on 0770 192696. It's better on this line. Hello? Lord, well, I radio station you calling. Go ahead. I'm please lower the volume of the radio. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Is it busy?
Yeah, you're live. Go ahead. 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. So I was watching my name is Abbott Bala. I was watching on the Facebook about the GTV case. I know that could not be true. During Booker and Ellen 12 years, I witnessed what happened to GTV case when the police shot in the face a big children, take their phone, even attempted to even rape some of those students. These children have been, the government have provided best protection for students and give support to students. But the atmosphere in this country for learning is very unique. So this type of politics is very dangerous for this country. Today I would like to appear on this station here because there's two things that burn in my heart. I want to talk about this election period. Are you getting me?
We're getting you, sir. Go ahead.
Number one is pertaining to NGO issue working in Liberia that left after the elections. Number two, they have to do with why there's no companies coming up to this time. You understand?
Okay, we'll find time. Thank you, sir, for being a part of the program. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Ezekiel C.K. and I'll do for you from Congo Town.
Let's hear you, Ezekiel.
Yeah, you see, for me, the reason I love President Weah, I even begin to love President Weah when I was in the TV, still learning as to how he was kicking better ball as a football those days. But what really put me in was that, look, during my early time, I attended Banabay Public School, Keba. I was in the Navre. Up to now, as I said, I didn't take my Navre wire. Just imagine the son of the sword. I didn't take Navre wire because I was not able to pay my Navre fee at that time. I sat from the beginning during the wire period. At that time, Keba Public School. You go there, you ask my name, is there in the record. My tears were rolling while my friends were sitting for their wire. I didn't take the wire.
Nobody will help you.
From ABC all the way to 11th grade, I attended government school. 12th grade, I did run away from government school during Ellington because I was not able to afford the wide fee and the graduation fee. So I had to go to private school to graduate because the person that wanted to help me at that time asked me to go to private school. It's helpful to me up to today. So when Weah came into power, President Weah, is a free tuition, which of course today I'm sitting here, I'm hustling. I was sending 1,000, 2,000 now for my brother in the interior to pay school fee, but today, yet it's free. I mean, I'm 100% plus happy. And somebody somewhere, if you are not happy, there's somebody somewhere from your family, benefiting from the tuition. Bet me, nobody can come against that. So President Weah will go back for a second time, no matter what happens.
Thank you, brother.
Hello.
Hello,
good evening. Sorry, if your voice can sound like Bugu Mel, you can be calling me.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Good evening, Safety.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, my name is Afonso Stromo, and I'm from my comfort resident, Peace Island, Chigota.
Let's hear you.
Let me say thank you to you and your colleagues for the level of information. Let me say this, President, we did retain. No matter what the opposition will say, this president has done a lot of things for we Liberians. So there is no way that we will worry in this country that President we can win the election. This is why we are on our feet. We are engaging door to door. We are doing it because we've seen the tangible things that President Weah is doing. We as young people, we are seeing the sugar down effect. Is like a thing, is visible by people who know us. That because of President Weah leadership, some of us we can be recognized today. But I can say to anybody, and let me put it in my data to speak to my people in Nima County. Because people let go sing let go gapale no sing you go let pay just in the talewa be sing so na mo kwano operation we are quite focused we are at Nima kwa level let go say I don't care so quite focused. Thank you very much for the level of education that you have given us and you and your co-partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for being a part of the program. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Hello?
Yeah. My newest speaking man here is my Mary Bonga on District 10. Weka, the 2005 they were in our seat. When they win, they went to the march on the fire for the march. And they came back to foreign care. 2011 they were to foreign care. But John said, I will say that and go say that there. And they said the march on fire. Then I want the budget they want to go. Say that there.
Okay, Mama.
Remember 2005 when one was doing was look at day. Was you can say don't need a seat. The one that brought your power so I want me to ventilate and the one possible rule the country. When I know war, when I know nothing, that the child will do that country. And then no war comes to pass.
Yep.
He said, when the president see no war again in the country again, it will just be peace.
Okay. Thank you, Mama. Mama, historian. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you're live.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Hi, my name is Moses Kazali. I'm calling from Ghana's.
Okay, Moses, let's hear from you.
So I want to thank you for this evening for this show. It's very important that our voices are across the country. I want to encourage the people of Liberia to vote for President Weah. President Weah has been given only 6 years. In the 6 years, he has performed.
Yep.
Even more than those that were given 12 years. And I listen to people say that Joseph Boakai was a cowboy. Joseph Boakai was never a cowboy. Because if he was a cowboy, according to you that said it, he shouldn't be claiming the king of the past government.
Yep.
Why would he be claiming the keys of the past government and denying the pitfalls of that government? He's just very insincere. So we are asking you, Liberians, to vote for George Weah. George Weah is the best way power for this country. When the nuclear prophesied, when in the 80s, it was George Weah he talked about, and that's what we're seeing today. My people, if we don't have anything, we should not go against George Weah for nothing. George Weah has been pictured as bad person because those that have been stealing our country don't want us to see the development idea George Weah is bringing.
coming to power will be on earth. So we're asking you, Liberians, all the 40, let us go and vote for number 2. George Weah is the best way power. You're who from local country. I always tell you people I'm from local country. I'm a Loma man. Joseph Walker is our uncle. That does not stop anything. But our uncle did not do well for us. He sat in the vice presidency for 12 years. He doesn't even have a school run in Bonjama. Hey, my people, what else do we want? You living, you working. We who say that right now, our people that are making farm, that are running motorbikes to paying their own horses. Joseph Walker was not able to pay the school horse in Bonjama. If you kill anybody that cannot build themselves, will never build anybody. So we asking people to join
Somebody's asking.
President Weah. Thank you very much.
Somebody's asking from the US, how can I call in from America? So you want to listen to the number? She will call the number, and if that's a WhatsApp number, they can call it.
Yeah, 0770 1926 96
0770
19
26
96.
96. That's a WhatsApp number you can call.
So that's the only person. If she calls, and we're going to take her, but I don't think we're taking any calls.
Can I read some of the
Yeah, sure, if you want.
So Masa Pelu from Australia writes, the caller that said JMB was like a cowboy on Ellis regime. I just want to tell him that the cowboy is the most trusted person in the car. The driver entrusts him with all of the passenger stuff on the car to be well kept and taken care of. And in most cases, the cowboy is the one who collects the transportation and gives the change. So in this case, Joseph Parker was the best cowboy to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and this is true. So Edna, she's giving you the number to call WhatsApp, so you can use that number to call. Let's call the number again.
07.
That's what somebody American
I'm
will
not
call.
sure whether she's going to get on the line, because a lot of people are still calling, and if you
I think she's trying
the
to.
WhatsApp, and then the local call will not allow you to get through. But we're not going to. Please stop calling. We're not going to take calls anymore.
Yeah, local call lines are closed.
Callers, most of the callers, said it all.
What's your WhatsApp number?
No, I ain't using my WhatsApp.
Let's hear from. What do you get on here for?
All the WhatsApp, most of the callers nailed it. Yeah, most of them nailed it. The thing about it is, there's no way you can build another person if you cannot build yourself.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, and I think that is one of the things we need to be talking about. What Unity Party brings to the table. What did they do? 12 years they had in power. What did they do? Which sector of our society did they improve that this government has not improved on or made any better? Then we are talking.
Let's do the debate.
So that should be, the talking point going forward. Let Unity Party folks tell us exactly, tell the Liberian people what you did 12 years ago that George Weah is not doing better today, because we know for a fact that the health system was not any better under you. JFK was just for killing. JFK is far better now today under George Weah. So what are you coming to rescue?
There's this caller who called, Titi, that talked about this Sinji that we keep saying. Remember the guy?
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
I remember that story.
You remember that story, right?
Yes.
But do you know today, under this administration, for the first time, public schools has got guardian counselors?
Yeah.
And the president said the reason why these guardian counselors are important is to protect the integrity of the girl child in the school.
Of course.
And help them make good decisions. And also avoid teachers from intimidating students.
Molesting young girls in school.
Imagine it was never. So the students who were making all of those that school is boastfully playing should also understand that their learning environment has been enhanced in a way that there's been some adjustments on the way it was 12 years ago. I wish they were in GW Gibson 12 years ago, so they will know how to appreciate what GW Gibson is today. So
the students of GW Gibson know what the police people did,
and that's the reason why most of the students were hailing the president and saying that we have decided to follow George Weah.
Listen to the man's testimony who was in school during Joseph
Could
Boakai.
not pay wire fee.
Yeah,
Ninth grade.
he doesn't have a a certificate
For
of
ninth
ninth
grade.
grade because he didn't have the money.
Wow.
Who is a student in Liberia today who would say, I did not take my WAS because I don't have money to pay? Because the government has taken charge and the president has promised to even do more if he is giving, the second term.
graduation fees.
Pay graduation fees.
Pay registration
That graduation fees has stopped a lot of students who have
graduation.
struggled and made a pass because they don't have money. They don't graduate because they don't pay the graduation fee. The government is saying going forward, after elections, the government will be charged with that responsibility. No 12th grader will pay WAS fees. No 12th grader will pay
And across the
graduation
country,
fees.
my people, they're not
Across the
just
country.
they're not public schools. The president talking about all of the schools.
And we will be asking the question whether maybe it also will come with the universities. The
Every number is going through. Maybe you didn't get the number right.
Right?
It's going through. Try again.
Our time is up. Anyway.
The time is up.
Yeah.
we're
So
sorry.
that
You can
is
try to call tomorrow.
that is huge, and nobody wants to miss that because if you got squanderers coming to make sure that they make their lives better because they've lost 6 years, that all the money in the gas tip and everything, they got to put it back. People like Jacob Akoli, if he hustling like that and he becomes, presidential, no, he's the minister of state. You can imagine he's going to grab everything that he lost when they were there 12 years and thought that he was going to come back to power in 2017.
But
So it's not going to be about
I don't want you to say lost. Say mismanaged. I think mismanaged.
It's not for him.
Titi, if a vice president
wealth.
who used the possessive pronoun we squander opportunities had the Nova Multilateral High School,
Lying
the only
ruins
public school
in your county.
in your county, lied in ruins for decades.
Yeah.
This president, who had never been a part of Lofa County, but recognized that the people of Lofa are Liberians alike.
And there are students in Lofa.
And he didn't just rehabilitate that school, he also added a 21st century modern TVET institution. And you're saying to me, in all audacities, that President Williams should not be re-elected?
Maybe I need to play the clip from tomorrow. Maybe I need to play the clip from the interview I did with students in Lofa County.
You should please do that.
How appreciative those children were of President Weah. Tomorrow I'm going to play that.
Please, I think we should. The remaining days of the elections, we will focus on the president's impacts.
Versus what Unity Party
has
did
done.
12 years ago. Yeah.
So that is it. It was a beautiful and a spirited conversation tonight. We look forward to having the best until Friday. Friday, we will certainly be winding down the camp.
Let me do something before I go, please.
Go ahead.
I want to wish my dear darling mother a happy pre-birthday. Tomorrow's her birthday.
Oh, wow.
And tomorrow is going to be one of the happiest days of my life, because this is a woman who stood by me in everything and made me what I am today. Usually on her birthdays, she sells in the market at Johansson. I usually take my colleagues to the market and celebrate her birthday there.
So tomorrow we got lunch on
So tomorrow she's going to be home on the airfield, and I'm going to be taking my friends again to wish her a happy birthday.
Don't be like Boakai.
And say thank you. No, I can't be the burger. I see even that Kevin Smith there. So we'll be all right tomorrow.
We're going to dedicate our broadcast to her tomorrow as well.
So we wish you, a very blessed birthday, Mama, and thank you. A good to bombo cha.
I know.
That's what the people always say. But again, we will be here. We're hopeful that on Friday, hopefully, we will play host to Madam Edith Gangaway. We're still, trying to make it happen, but we're hopeful that that is going to happen so that we can hear exactly.
And so people of Port County will also call in the health minister tomorrow to give us update on the just ended meeting with the health workers in Port County.
Okay, so join us, God willing, tomorrow. And all of you who made it your duty to be with us via radio or the internet, we also appreciate you. I also always like to end on this note that, this is about the elections. Elections are about votes. Their votes must count. If you sit home and you appreciate President Weah, you know that President Weah has done a lot for this country and you want him to continue on that on that note, it's incumbent upon you to get up on Tuesday morning and go and make your vote count. If you did that on Tuesday, trust me, Tuesday night, we will be here and calling the numbers to you, and you will be proud. But if you don't do that, you sit home, I'm sorry. So please get out there. And I like to give it up for all the foot soldiers who are out there every day under the rain and under the sun and making sure that, people get to know exactly what His Excellency is doing and how he is.
From the east to the west, north to the south, let's come together as one. They say united we stand, divided we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. While you forget that, you follow back.